Dropping body fat is a huge problem globally, but especially for we Indians, there are two specific problems that are keeping us stuck in the loop of fat loss, and we tend to never get out of it. Even though majority of people have lost weight at some point in their lives, but we regain majority of it, and majority of the time we regain more than what we have actually lost. In this episode, my friend, we are going to discuss about two such reasons that are the biggest and the root causes behind why Indians are still stuck with fat loss. And why do they regain their weight back after everything that they have done correctly? What is actually holding us back? That is something we are going to discuss in this episode, and not just discuss about the problem, but discuss about the solution of it, how to get it solved, and solving it from the root cause and not just fixing the symptoms of it. So stay tuned till the end. You are going to love this episode. As always, Vinay here, lecturer of exercise science at National Strength and Conditioning Association India, a body transformation and a performance coach, here to make your transformation and performance journey easier, faster, and enjoyable. And in today's episode, my friend, I was just thinking about what to record next, as this is our 44th episode. 44th episode is like putting me in top 1% of podcasts globally, because people never make it beyond 5 episode, beyond 10 episode, and if we go beyond 25 episode, it's like you are in the top 1% of the podcasters globally. So that is what I have read, at least I don't know, maybe but that's fine. It is not about being the best. The intention behind starting a podcast is concepts in fitness are very, very complex, and there is a lot of misinformation around, and all of the misinformation cannot be covered within a 60-second reel. So that's why I just wanted to be like your friend, be like your best friend who has knowledge and good amount and the right knowledge about health, fitness, the concepts about exercise, nutrition, and things like that. And the friend is giving you all of the information, is sharing with you, is talking with you. That is what this podcasts are supposed to be. This is just like a friend having a conversation with a friend, and that's it. I don't want to make this like the scientific jargons and throwing away all of the information and educational lectures on you and make it feel like this is an online class for you. This is just a friend talking to a friend, and let's talk about what is actually keeping Indians stuck in their fat loss. The two inherent problem number one is we eat a lot of complex and a lot of variety of food, which makes it very difficult for us to actually understand the calories that we are getting from our food. Now, even if we just talk about the basic foods that we eat, chapatis, dals, and things like that, parathas, it is impossible to exactly track how much calories does that paratha contain if we are not tracking the ingredients from the root sources. That means tracking the amount of wheat flour that goes in there, tracking the amount of potatoes that goes in there, tracking the amount of oil that goes in there. If we are not tracking this, also the butter or the ghee that you are going to put on top of the parathas, if we are not tracking these four things, calorie counting is impossible. No app or website or data or a person or an influencer or a coach or even God can predict how much calories would be there in that paratha, because even if you make 5 parathas, the calories in all of the 5 parathas might not be the same. The calories in your parathas might not be the same as the calories in my paratha, and the app that we use to log the foods and to know about the calories in a paratha would never be able to guess how much calories are there actually in our parathas, because parathas are complex. We eat a lot of complex food. What's the solution? We'll talk about the solution after point number two. Point number two is there is a lot of misinformation and we still believe in good food and bad food and things like that. Yes, there are good foods. Yes, there are supposed bad foods, but good food and bad food are basically the good food are the foods that supports us in reaching our goals and make the process a lot easier. Bad foods could be termed as the food that would not make it easier for us to reach our goals. Okay, just like eating a lot of protein, eating a lot of fibers would make it a lot easier to stay fuller for longer, to stay energetic for longer. These are the foods that will not give you an energy drop. These are the foods that will keep you satiated for a lot longer, so that you will not need motivation and willpower to resist the temptation of all of the small food snacks that come across or come along your way throughout the day. But when we do not eat a lot of protein, when we do not eat a lot of fruits, high fiber veggies, and all of the high fiber foods, what happens is we eat now, within next 2 hours we are hungry again, within next 2 hours we are hungry again, and then it takes a lot of motivation and willpower and dedication to sustain or to refrain from eating all of the snacks, junk food, and all of these things which are around us. So these foods could be called as good food, bad food, but then again, there is no specific criteria about this is good, this is bad, this, that. People still believe that dal, rajma, chole are like protein sources and they eat these foods for protein. Even if you are a vegetarian, you should not be dependent on protein from these food sources. Depending on protein from these food sources is like depending on Jasprit Bumrah to score majority of runs for our team. Although Bumrah could bat and could get some runs for us, but this is same like dal, rajma, and chole. Bumrah is a primary bowler. These food sources are primary carbohydrate sources, not protein sources. Although they give us some protein, but we should not be dependent on protein from these food sources. Okay, that is what the thing is, my friend. There's a lot of food variety, a lot of complex food around, and that makes it very difficult for us to track our calories and macros and things like that. Number two is we still have a lot of misinformation out there in the market, and we still believe a lot of myths, a lot of facts, a lot of, we never understand what is a myth, what is a fact. It's very difficult. I can understand it's very difficult. For me also, it was difficult before me getting all of my certifications and getting my knowledge. I used to believe everything that you believe now. Because all over the internet, it is very difficult to understand what's a myth and what's a fact. Unless and until you are a listener to Fitness Engineered podcast, my friend. This podcast is all about that. It's all about giving you the right information, giving you the right tools, giving you the right mindset so that you can crush it in your fitness journey, my friend. That is what this podcast is all about. So what are the solutions, my friend? The solution is simple. The solution is simple. Learn the basics of nutrition. Number two, have a structure around your nutrition plan. Do not go in without a structure and do not do things mindlessly. Be a little intentional. Be a little intentional and learn the basics about nutrition. Now, if you would have listened to like 44 of the earlier episodes of Fitness Engineered podcast, you know the basics. You do not need to know anything else. You know the basics of nutrition. You know what was there and what you were supposed to know about it. The second thing is have a structure before eating a meal, and structure your meals according to the structure that I am going to give you next. Okay, every meal of yours should have a primary protein source in there, something for fibers. Now it could be fruits, it could be veggies. Try to get fibers only from these and not from high fiber bread and high fiber snacks and things like that. Fruits or vegetables, a protein source. These two should be a mandatory part of your meals. Okay, and then number three is carbohydrates. Now everything is a carbohydrate. Everything that we eat is a primary carbohydrate source. Chapati, dal, rice, and all of the sabzis and everything, idli, dosa, paratha, rajma, chole, all of these things are carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are available all over and we can eat carbohydrates. It is not like we should never eat carbohydrates or carbohydrates are bad for us or carbohydrates makes us fat. No, my friend. We could eat carbohydrates, we could eat plenty of carbohydrates, but that plenty, how much is plenty, is still questionable claim. Okay, when we eat plenty of protein, when we eat plenty of fiber, our body self regulates the amount of food, amount of carbohydrates, amount of calories that we need. The first place, even if you are not tracking your food, even if you are not weighing your food and everything, even if you just contain a big portion of primary protein source and a big portion of veggies into your meals, your body would naturally self regulate how much food you need, how much energy you need, and things like that. And it would be very easy for you to stay in a calorie deficit and to drop body fat. You gotta exercise, you gotta sleep better. That is also going to self-regulate or help you in the regulation of your hunger hormones, into regulation of your appetite, into regulation of your detoxification, digestion system, and all of these things. The simple thing is, go in with a structure. Do not go in without a structure. And then one thing that damages this the most is snacks. Snacks and the processed foods overall just trick our digestive system, just trick our brain and our body into thinking that we haven't had enough food. We are never full when we are eating like french fries. We would never feel full after eating kurkure, no matter how much kurkures you eat, no matter how much of the french fries we eat. These foods are designed in such a way that we keep eating them for a lot longer. We do not recognize how much we have already had, and they make us feel like we must eat a lot of it, we must eat more of it, we must eat more of it. Okay, have the right information and have good meal structures for the meals. That's it. If you have these two things, 80% of your problems with the nutrition part would already be solved. You do not need a lot of fancy stuff. But the problem is, we think that if it is not complex, if it is not extreme, it could not work. We do not recognize the fact that the solutions to these problems could be simple. We want the problems to be extreme, we want the problems to be confusing, we want the problems to be complex. These are the things that are keeping us fat, these are the things that are keeping us stuck, my friend. Believe that the solution is simple. Try doing this, stay consistent with this. Drop me a text if you feel problem, if you get stuck somewhere, if you cannot figure something out. Just drop me a text. I'm here. I'll be happy to help you out. That is what, my friend, a short and a sweet episode today, because I am out of topics. Do recommend what topics I should make podcast on. I think out of the 44 episodes that we have covered majority of the points, and now I have to do a lot of research about which topic I should come up with and things like that. But I want your help in this, my friend. I want your help in understanding what are the topics that you want me to make a podcast on, what are the topics that you want me to put a light upon, and what is something that I would be able to help you with. Do let me know in the comments below. Drop a text to me on Instagram. I am as fitness engineer underscore Vinay. I would be happy to hear from you, and I'd be very, very happy to make a podcast on the topic if you give it to me. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice day. See you for the next one.